Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're going to be exploring Carol Dweck's mindset.
Okay.
Specifically, excerpts you've shared with us.
Right.
It seems you're interested in her ideas about fixed versus growth mindsets.
Yeah.
Have you ever wondered why some people seem to bounce back from setbacks while others get totally derailed?
Mm-hmm.
Or if talent is all it takes to succeed?
Those are exactly the kinds of questions mindset tackles.
Yeah.
Dweck's work is so fascinating because it challenges our assumptions about what determines success. She doesn't just offer feel-good theories.
Yeah.
Her ideas are rooted in years of rigorous research.
So let's dive into the core concept.
Okay.
Fixed versus growth mindsets.
Yeah.
Dweck uses this relatable example of getting a C+ on a paper, followed by a parking ticket and a dismissive friend.
Oh, wow.
It's like a perfect storm of small setbacks.
Yeah.
What stands out to you in how people with these different mindsets might react?
It's all about interpretation. Someone with a fixed mindset might see this as confirmation that they lack intelligence or are just unlucky. They might even give up on the class entirely thinking, I'm just not good at this.
So they internalize those setbacks as a reflection of their inherent abilities.
Exactly.
Yeah.
On the other hand, a person with a growth mindset might be frustrated, sure.
Right.
But they wouldn't see these events as defining their worth. They'd be more likely to think, okay, how can I improve my study habits? Where did I park wrong? What's going on with my friend?
That's interesting because it suggests a growth mindset isn't about being happy-go-lucky all the time.
Right.
It's more about how we analyze and respond to challenges.
It is, and this difference in approach has implications for everything.
Yeah.
From how we learn to how we interact with others. Dweck even found that NASA's astronaut selection process actually favors candidates who've had some failures in their careers.
Now that's a surprise. Why would NASA want people who haven't always succeeded?
It might seem counterintuitive, but Dweck's research suggests that individuals with a history of setbacks are often better equipped for high-pressure, unpredictable environments.
Okay.
They've learned to adapt and problem solve. Those with perfect track records, on the other hand, might be more risk-averse, afraid to make a mistake that could tarnish their image.
It's almost as if those early setbacks act like a training ground for resilience and creative problem solving.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
They've already confronted those fixed mindset fears and learned to move forward.
Right.
This connects to another point Dweck makes.
Okay.
Fixed mindsets often lead people to shy away from situations where they might expose their weaknesses. She uses a study with Hong Kong students choosing English classes as an example.
I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
What happened with those students?
They had a choice between a challenging English class that would significantly improve their fluency
Okay.
or an easier class where they were more likely to get a good grade but wouldn't learn as much.
I have a feeling I know where this is going.
Many students with fixed mindsets opted for the easier class.
Yeah.
They were more concerned with maintaining their image of being good at English than with actually improving their skills.
They prioritize looking good over the long-term gains of pushing themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This fear of revealing deficiencies is a major roadblock for anyone with a fixed mindset,
Right.
whether it's in the classroom, the workplace, or even personal relationships.
This makes me think about all the times I've hesitated to try something new because I was afraid of looking foolish. It really highlights how those fixed mindset beliefs can hold us back.
Yeah.
And this leads us to another big question Dweck explores, the role of talent versus effort. She challenges the notion that some people are just naturals,
Right.
while others are doomed to mediocrity.
One of the most intriguing points Dweck makes is that we often overestimate the role of innate talent. She argues that consistent effort and what she calls deliberate practice play a far greater role in achieving mastery than we typically acknowledge.
And she uses some pretty compelling examples from the world of sports to illustrate this point.
Yeah.
Think about Michael Jordan. Most people see him as this basketball prodigy.
Right.
But what they might not realize is the amount of work he put in behind the scenes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Jordan's relentless dedication to practice is legendary.
Right.
He wasn't content with simply being talented.
Yeah.
He was constantly pushing himself to improve his skills. And it wasn't just mindless repetition either.
Right.
This is where deliberate practice comes in.
Yeah.
It's about having a specific goal in mind, breaking down complex skills into smaller components, and then focusing intently on improving each aspect,
Yeah.
even the ones that feel difficult or tedious.
So even someone like Michael Jordan, who seemed to have natural talent,
Right.
was actively shaping his abilities through focused effort.
Yeah,
That's a powerful message
It is.
because it means we're not limited by what we think we were born with.
And it's not just about athletic ability.
Right.
This applies to any field.
Yeah.
Whether it's music, writing, business, or even interpersonal skills.
Think about a skill you admire in someone else.
Yeah.
It's tempting to attribute it all to talent,
Right.
but chances are there's a lot more effort and deliberate practice behind the scenes than we realize.
That's true.
It makes you wonder if we sometimes use the idea of natural talent as an excuse not to push ourselves.
Yeah.
Like, if someone else is effortlessly good at something,
Mm-hmm.
then maybe we're just not meant to be good at it.
That's an excellent point.
Yeah.
It's easy to get discouraged when we compare ourselves to others who seem to excel effortlessly.
Right.
But Dweck's work challenges us to shift our perspective.
Okay.
Instead of focusing on what we perceive as our limitations,
Yeah.
what if we focused on the power of dedicated effort and strategic practice?
Mhm.
What could we achieve then?
That's something I'm definitely going to be thinking about.
Yeah.
It challenges me to look beyond the surface and recognize that even the most impressive skills are often the result of consistent, focused effort.
And that's a key takeaway from mindset.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing that we have more control over our abilities than we might think.
Mhm.
Our potential isn't fixed. It's something we can cultivate and expand through dedication and the right approach to learning.
This is already shifting my perspective.
Good.
It's exciting to think about the possibilities that open up when we stop viewing our abilities as static and embrace the idea that we can always learn and grow.
Yeah,
Now, I know Dweck also applies these mindset concepts to the world of business,
she does.
which is an area you're interested in.
Yes, and it's fascinating to see how fixed versus growth mindsets can impact company culture, leadership styles,
Right.
and even a company's overall success.
Okay, so let's delve into the world of business and explore how these mindsets play out in that arena. What are some of the key insights Dweck offers in mindset when it comes to businesses and organizations?
One of the most compelling comparisons Dweck makes is between Jack Welch's leadership style at GE,
Okay.
which embodies a growth mindset,
Mhm.
and the fixed mindset culture that contributed to the downfall of Enron.
Those are two very different companies,
Yeah.
each with a very distinct culture.
Right.
What were the key differences in their mindset?
Well, and how did those mindsets shape their outcomes? Welch really championed a culture of learning and development.
Yeah.
He encouraged his employees to experiment, take risks, and innovate,
Hmm.
knowing that failures were inevitable but also valuable learning opportunities.
Right.
In a growth mindset culture, making mistakes isn't a sign of weakness.
Yeah.
It's a chance to learn and improve.
That's a far cry from the culture at Enron, where maintaining an image of infallibility seemed to be paramount.
Exactly.
Yeah.
At Enron, the leadership had a fixed mindset,
Right.
focused on appearing brilliant and punishing any mistakes. This created a culture of fear,
Yeah.
where employees were more concerned with covering up their flaws than learning from them.
Right.
And this ultimately stifled innovation and contributed to their downfall.
So it wasn't just about individual mindsets.
Right.
It was about the overall culture
Yeah.
that those mindsets created.
Mhm.
It's like the company itself had a fixed mindset.
Yes, and Dweck's research shows that this can have a huge impact on a company's success. Think about it. In a growth mindset company where learning is valued, people are more likely to share their ideas, collaborate, and innovate.
Right.
They're not afraid to take risks because they know that even if they fail, they'll learn something valuable from the experience.
This reminds me of something you mentioned earlier
Yeah.
about NASA favoring astronauts with less than perfect track records.
Mm-hmm.
It's about valuing those experiences as opportunities for growth, not as marks of failure.
That's a great connection.
Yeah.
And it highlights how a growth mindset can lead to greater resilience and adaptability. Dweck even found that supervisors in growth mindset companies are more likely to see leadership potential in their employees
Why is that?
because they believe that potential can be cultivated.
Okay.
They don't see their employees' current abilities as fixed.
Yeah.
They see them as starting points for growth and development.
Right.
This, in turn, creates a more empowering and supportive environment for employees.
So it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Right.
If you believe people can grow and change,
Mm-hmm.
you're more likely to give them opportunities to do so.
Exactly.
And they're more likely to rise to the occasion.
And this is a key takeaway for anyone in a leadership position.
Yeah.
By fostering a growth mindset culture, you can unlock the potential of your team and create an environment where innovation and excellence thrive.
This whole discussion about business makes me curious about how Dweck's work applies to relationships.
Okay.
I know she talks about how fixed mindsets can be particularly detrimental in this area.
She does, and it's something a lot of people can relate to. Think about it. If you believe that people can't change, you're going to be less forgiving of their flaws, less willing to work through challenges.
Right.
You might even see conflict as a sign that the relationship is doomed.
It's like those small disagreements become amplified
Mm-hmm.
because they're seen as evidence of fundamental incompatibility.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In a fixed mindset, every conflict can feel like a judgment of your partner's character. But with a growth mindset, you see those conflicts as opportunities to learn, to understand each other better, and to find solutions that work for both partners.
So instead of seeing your partner's flaws as fixed and unchanging,
Right.
you see them as areas for potential growth.
Yeah,
It's about embracing the journey together.
it is. Dweck tells this story about a couple who constantly misinterpreted each other's intentions.
Yeah.
Instead of simply asking for clarification, they would assume the worst, leading to unnecessary arguments and hurt feelings.
Right.
This is a classic example of how fixed mindsets can sabotage communication and create unnecessary conflict.
It's almost as if they were more invested in proving they were right than in truly understanding each other.
And that's a common pitfall in relationships where fixed mindsets dominate.
Right.
It's a recipe for resentment and disconnection.
Yeah.
Dweck's research suggests that growth-oriented relationships, on the other hand, focus on empathy, understanding,
Right.
and a willingness to work through challenges together.
So it's about choosing curiosity over judgment, even when things get tough.
Exactly.
It's about remembering that we're all works in progress, constantly learning and evolving.
Exactly.
This is making me think about the language we use in relationships.
Okay.
Instead of saying things like, you always do this or you never do that, which reinforces a fixed mindset.
Right.
Maybe we could try saying things like, I feel hurt when this happens, or I would really appreciate it if you could try this.
That's a brilliant insight. Shifting our language can be a powerful way to cultivate a growth mindset in our relationships.
Yeah.
By focusing on our feelings and needs rather than making judgments about our partner's character,
Right.
we create a more supportive and collaborative dynamic.
This has been incredibly insightful.
Good.
But shifting from a fixed to a growth mindset sounds like a big undertaking.
Can be.
Does Dweck offer any practical guidance on how to actually make this change?
She does, and thankfully she provides some really helpful advice on how to make this shift.
Okay.
Recognizing that it's a journey, not a quick fix. It requires ongoing effort and awareness.
So where do we even begin? What are some of the first steps we can take?
One of the first steps Dweck recommends is becoming aware of your fixed mindset triggers.
Okay.
These are the situations or thoughts that tend to activate those limiting beliefs.
Like maybe getting negative feedback at work or comparing ourselves to someone who seems more successful.
Those are common ones.
Yeah.
It might also be encountering a new challenge that makes you feel uncertain or intimidated. The key is to simply notice those moments when those fixed mindset thoughts start to creep in.
So instead of letting those thoughts take over,
Yeah.
we need to catch them and challenge them.
Exactly. Instead of just accepting those thoughts as truth, ask yourself, is there another way to look at this situation? Maybe that negative feedback is actually valuable information you can use to improve your skills.
Right.
Maybe comparing yourself to others is less helpful than focusing on your own progress and growth.
It's about reframing those negative thoughts into something more positive and constructive.
And that's where the idea of developing a growth mindset voice comes in.
Okay.
It's like creating an internal coach that can guide you through challenging situations.
I love that analogy. So instead of listening to that critical inner voice that says, you're not good enough or you're going to fail,
Yeah.
we can cultivate a more supportive voice that says, okay, this is tough, but you can handle it. What can you learn from this experience? How can you grow from this?
Exactly. It's about becoming your own cheerleader and advocate,
Yeah.
even when things get tough.
And part of that is learning to embrace challenges rather than shying away from them.
She does.
Because in a fixed mindset, we tend to avoid challenges out of fear of failure, right?
Right.
We don't want to risk exposing our weaknesses.
Yeah.
But Dweck argues that true growth happens when we step outside of our comfort zones.
In a growth mindset, challenges aren't threats. They're opportunities to learn and expand our abilities. It's like a muscle. The more we challenge ourselves, the stronger we become.
So it's not about seeking out failure,
Right.
but about recognizing that setbacks and mistakes are an inevitable part of the learning process.
Exactly.
It's about being willing to stumble and get back up again, stronger and wiser.
And that brings us to the importance of effort.
Okay.
Dweck challenges the idea that success should come easily.
Mm-hmm.
In a fixed mindset, if we have to struggle, it means we're not talented enough.
Yeah.
Right.
But in a growth mindset, we understand that effort is essential for growth and mastery.
She used the example of her brainology program, where students were taught that their brains are like muscles that can be strengthened through effort and practice.
And the results were remarkable. Those students showed significant improvements in their academic performance once they embraced the growth mindset principles.
It's like they unlocked a whole new level of potential just by shifting their beliefs about their ability to learn and grow.
Exactly, and this applies to all of us, not just students.
Right.
Think about any skill you've developed in your life.
Yeah.
It probably took a lot of effort, practice, and perseverance.
Mm-hmm.
Talent might have played a role,
Right.
but it was the consistent effort that ultimately made the difference.
This is making me think about all the times I've given up on something too soon.
Yeah.
Because I thought I wasn't naturally good at it.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm realizing that maybe I just needed to put in more effort to be more strategic in my approach. That's a powerful realization, and it speaks to the transformative potential of a growth mindset.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing that we have more control over our abilities than we might think.
This has been incredibly eye-opening,
Good.
but I'm also feeling a bit overwhelmed.
Yeah.
It feels like shifting to a growth mindset is a major undertaking, something that requires constant vigilance and effort.
It can feel that way at first,
Yeah.
but the good news is that it gets easier with practice.
Okay.
The more we consciously choose to embrace growth mindset principles, the more they become ingrained in our thinking and behavior. It's
Right.
like building a new mental habit.
So it's not about being perfect all the time.
Right.
It's about being aware of our fixed mindset tendencies and gently steering ourselves back toward a growth mindset.
Exactly. And it's about being kind to ourselves in the process.
Mm.
We're all going to have moments where those fixed mindset thoughts creep in.
Yeah.
The key is to not beat ourselves up about it, but to simply acknowledge those thoughts and choose a more empowering perspective.
It's about progress, not perfection.
Absolutely. And Dweck emphasizes that this is an ongoing journey, not a destination.
Mm.
We're always going to be learning and evolving, and that's what makes life so exciting.
This has given me a lot to think about, both in terms of my own mindset and how I can cultivate a more growth-oriented environment for myself and those around me.
And that's really the power of Dweck's work.
Yeah.
It's not just about understanding the concepts, it's about putting them into practice and creating a more positive and empowering world.
It's been a fascinating deep dive into mindset. I feel like I have a whole new set of tools and perspectives to help me navigate the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead.
And remember, it's not just about you.
Right.
By embracing a growth mindset, you can inspire those around you to do the same.
Mm.
It's a ripple effect that can create positive change in families, workplaces, and communities.
That's a powerful thought to end on. Thanks for joining me on this exploration of mindset. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep believing your own boundless potential.